Hey guys, welcome back to Yomo. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. So today we have a new book. In this book we have two-part reflection, and this is part one and two. And the book is the Five Invitations: Discovering What Death Can Teach Us About Living Fully by Frank Otaseki, I guess.
I think it's
Astaseki.
Astaseki. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is an interesting book. Very, very interesting book. I don't even know where I found it. Sometimes books just find you, right? But this book's about like the title says, the five invitations, discovering what death can teach us about living fully. Um, it's This guy was he's the co-founder of this place in San Francisco called the Zen Hospice Care. And this book is like his lessons and kind of like a memoir of his career as a caregiver to dying people, and what he observed, through going through thousands, being by the bedside of like 1,000 people that are literally taking their last breaths and on their last couple of days of life, and you know what they share, how they how they were processing things, and how it informed his lessons on life, to maybe take that and understanding of it and apply it to have a more meaningful life, right? For people that are maybe not in that situation. Just what we learn from people that are dying,
Mhm.
and it's a really hard book to process, because it's a very intense book, right? I mean, death is intense. But For me, this is another multi-part reflection. This book was a lot to process, and I remember it distinctly. It was it's a tough book to get through, but at the same time, it was a rewarding book to get through, and a book that I'm glad that I read. And I'm glad that we can talk about it a little bit today. So,
Mhm.
the first reflection that came from this was, the reflection title says you're trying too hard. So just I started this reflection off by just talking about books about death and suffering. Man, they've been the hardest for me to consume on this journey. Like I'm sure for anybody, but just the topic of conversation is not fun no matter what. Nobody really wants to read a book about death. I mean, I don't, sorry, they may want to read it I don't think anybody is like excited to read a book about death, right? You'd be a little bit of a weirdo, I think, if that was the case. But for me, it's even weirder because obviously you know, what I went through with my daughter, and for the first couple years, I would say, yeah, the first couple years after her death, I mean, it was it was really, really, really hard for me to try to explore these topics, just because I wasn't there yet. I wasn't mentally able to do it. Uh, I tended to try to find other things to learn and think about and reflect about, and to keep my mind off of these kind of topics, right? Because they hurt, they're painful,
Mhm.
and we don't tend to run at pain, a lot of times. So, however, you know, eventually Amelia and I able to channel strength together, and started to read these first couple books. I remember the first one we did was Option B. Finally did. It took me like 4 months after I read the first like 10 pages of that one to like pick it back up and to finally finish it. Just I'm glad I did, but it was tough. And then we've had other books along the way, like Tuesdays with Morrie, A Man's Search for Meaning, A Year of Magical Thinking, When Breath Becomes Air, the Gulag Archipelago, and now the Five Invitations. And I'm sure there's been other ones along the way. But like it is just, it slowly but surely got a little bit easier for me with each one of these books, but it's never easy. Like it really just isn't. I don't know how to describe. Has there ever been have you ever read a book like kind of similar to this, or tried to put yourself in that state of mind, by any chance? Well, maybe my
I
book.
mean, I read The Man's Search for Meaning. I mean, I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, some of it you're gonna have to come across one way or another, whether it's
Yeah,
through books or some uh
real life.
personal, like a personal connection with somebody,
Yeah.
because death is one of those things where it comes for everybody.
Mhm.
And you will, depending on how long you've been on Earth already, you will know personally or through an indirect connection that you know somebody, and that is something that, and I don't think it gets any easier. It's just that you are more prepared in a way. But I think to me, it always makes you think, right? Because
Mm.
it always put things into perspective.
Yep.
The most pressing and the most emergency that you have for the day, certainly it's like so little. It is so little that it doesn't even register in your mind. So when my uncle passed away, right? I don't remember what I did at work. I think that doesn't matter. I mean,
Right.
I could be like spending 3 months trying to prepare for a project, and I'm gonna go to um you know present it to get a new contract with a government agency, whatever. And that doesn't matter. I mean,
Right.
basically you completely forget about it. I mean, you spend 3 months and
Yep.
with so much resources and late nights and whatever. And when my uncle passed away, and that no, and he was close to me. That's why it
Right.
shocked you to wake up. And so, like I said, I don't know if it gets any easier. I mean, I think you may feel it's easier because you're more prepared. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
just having to say, well, it's easy because I've seen so many.
Yeah. No, I think it definitely does get, I don't know if easier is the right word. It definitely gets less scary, right?
Right, right.
The more that you embrace it,
I
right?
mean,
The more.
the amount of processing and the amount of emotion that evokes when you're there, it's just as you know pungent and deep as
Right.
before. It's just that you're not as scared in terms of, okay, I have no idea what to do, and I'm completely
Right.
shocked by the fact that this happens.
Yep.
Like I say, it's not the word easy. That I wouldn't say it's easy.
No, no, no,
I'm
not at
just
all.
saying.
And it's never easy. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Maybe you have more preparations and you understand a little bit better, and then it seems like you can handle it
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Each one,
more capable than before.
right. Each one gets a little bit less hard. I don't know if easy is the right word, but a little bit less hard. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned what his 5 invitations are, but these are the lessons that he learned from his patients. Was number
Mhm.
one was don't wait. Number two is welcome everything and push away nothing. Number three is bring your whole self to the experience. Number four is find a place to rest in the middle of things. And number five is cultivate the don't know mind. Like I think when you sum up all those things, well, here I'll get to in the reflection in a second, but the there's there's something about these books that do exactly like what you just described, Drew. Of it
Mhm.
makes you just stop and it makes you go, you know, this is hard, this is painful, this is real life though, right? Like this is stuff that we all have to figure out, to embrace, and to process. At a certain point in life, and we're all going to be there. Eventually at a certain point in life, and we've talked about this many times on this journey with books like The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, where Darren's talking about his friend that says don't miss the point, or A Man's Search for Meaning, like who has a why can overcome any how kind of
Mhm.
you know these are lessons from people that were at their end of their life. Well, I guess Viktor Frankl survived, but the lessons that those people always tend to share is something along the lines of, man, wish I had more time. I wish I would have enjoyed the little things every single day. I wish I would have not worried too much about that stupid project when I was 40 years old that I would work 3 months on, that nobody gives a shit about anyway, and they're never going to give a shit about in the first place. I wish I would have spent more time doing this. Right? It's always about slowing down and enjoying life, right? Like it's really what it boils down to when you hear these stories over and over and over again from people about enjoy life, understand why you're here, and embrace it
Just
while you're here,
just like
right?
we
Like
talked about yesterday,
it was exactly like we were talking about yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to put a dead in the universe, like, why?
Why? Yeah. Right.
Right? And then when you're on your deathbed, and well, that dead universe means nothing. Like I say, it could be the most important thing in your life, and then suddenly you experience one of these things, and that becomes like vapor.
Have you ever seen Steve Jobs' final words? Do you know what they were?
Mm-mm.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
I'm serious. Like when he literally the last two words that came out of his mouth when he was in hospice on his deathbed was, oh wow. Like, like this is what his author said in his book. And
What does that mean? Oh wow.
like I think he just realized, wow, life's pretty amazing. I don't know. I mean, like like it's I don't know. As he was, nobody knows what he means by that. But I think after I heard his autobiography, I mean his story, I forget if you call it an autobiography. Yeah, it's an autobiography.
It's
No,
a
it's just a
biography.
biography. It was just a biography, but it was written with him. So, what does that make it then?
Um, I guess it's an autobiography because but it's ghost written.
Right. It was written with him being interviewed throughout the whole entire time and having say in the whole thing. So I don't know what you call it. It doesn't matter. But it
Yeah, so
was
it's kind of like a hybrid. So
right,
autobiography is usually you write it yourself. You write about
right,
your own
right,
life. Biography is when somebody else write about you. Like we write about Benjamin Franklin. That's a biography, right?
right,
Um, and but like more in the modern day, the author and the subject, the person's life, it's basically kind of like coordinate and co-author. So you could say that is a autobiography or a
kind of.
biography because you kind of co-author your own life story.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like Elon Musk's book with Walter Isaacson isn't an autobiography, but it's also not a anyway, it doesn't matter. We're getting into semantics,
Right,
but
right.
the point being is after I consumed the whatever you want to call it, that Steve Jobs and Walter Isaacson did together, like I took that as him going, oh wow, like life is really fucking incredible, like I'm seeing this for the first
Oh
time.
wow, I got
Yeah,
screwed.
could be that too.
It's like
Or oh wow, I screwed up, by being such a shithead, for so many years, and I don't know, it doesn't matter. But either way, like you get these sentiments from people all the time when they're in their last couple months where they realize how important and precious life really is, and we forget it day by day. So anyway, on to the reflection. So the thing that this book made me think about is have you ever been out on a run or doing a workout or doing some physical activity where you're like, I'm gonna push hard today. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? Like where you're just like, I'm gonna go at it. I'm gonna get after this. Whether it's coding or something like that, where you're like, I'm gonna really, really, really like try to take, if my baseline is here, I'm gonna go to here. And I'm just gonna see how hard I can push
no.
you. You don't do that
No,
ever?
I'm not a serious. I quit.
Fair enough. I
It's
mean,
like I told you, if I mean the thing is, I will try to push a boulder that is in front of me on the road. I will try to push it, but if
right.
I push it and it doesn't move, I don't push it anymore. I say, well, it's heavier than me. I ain't doing it. And so
That's
I
fine.
do try, but with the moment it gets to the point where I say, well, that's the thing is for me. That's why I told you about one of my strengths in coding is that I don't bang my head against anything. And this is the reason why I told you, like many
Yeah.
many times when I go into a project, right? I've inherited a project that over the course of like 3 or 4 years, over 7 different developer could not fix
Right.
a problem. I can fix it in 2 days. And it's not that I'm fixing the issue. I just say, well, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to put something else in. It's like,
Right.
what do you need done? Right. And that's how I fix it. That's how I
Yeah.
remedy most of the things. So
Makes
same
sense.
thing, with the app that broke, right? It broke, and the user can't use it, and they're trying to fix it, they can't fix it, and and then they call me in. I said, call in the specialist, right? They
Right.
call
Right.
me in. I say, well, that thing is broken. Just choose something else. All right. And so the
Makes
guy
sense.
say, I didn't make it look easy. Well, it kind of is.
Right.
Because the thing is, if I had, so the thing is, sometimes, like I said, everything is pros and cons, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes you really, really competitive and you're trying to get your way into one thing.
Right.
It is also your disadvantage because you go in there and say, I am strong enough. I can make this happen. I can figure out how to make it work the way it is,
Right.
right? And so to me, I don't do that. And
Well,
and
that's good.
and,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's bad because let's say that is a good solution, but I don't put enough effort in it. So I never give enough of an oof for it to like push it, you know?
Right. Right.
So it's always pros and cons, but it depends on your individuality. What are you kind of like geared towards? Like what is your affinity towards?
Mhm.
If your affinity towards certain thing, right? Use that as your advantage. And so if the other things are not, like what you and I were saying is, don't practice on your backhand. Just find
Right.
somebody who's good at the backhand, and
Yep.
then just swing your forehand and let it rip.
Right. No, for sure. But for I don't know what it is, but for me, one of the I agree with what you're saying, by the way. Like I also know for myself personally, like sometimes I just like to just go hard as I can and see what happens, right? Like and like I mean, it's almost more of a curiosity. It's like, can I do it? You know, like I mean,
Mm.
I don't care if I fail, but I'm like, can I do it? You know, so all what ends up
Yeah,
inevitably ends
everyone
up
has their own strengths and their own, I guess, desires in core value. This is what we call core value, your
yeah.
desire, right?
I'm just
And
competitive. I mean,
when you're
I like
competitive,
challenging.
it
Yeah.
makes you feel it makes you enjoy it,
Right. I love
right?
challenging like myself.
You enjoy it so that even in the 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 stress of pushing hard, you actually get joy out of it, and so
I I
that's
get a
still
ton of
core
joy out of
value,
it. Right.
right? It's
Right.
still
Right.
core value. But the thing is, if you push hard but you don't get joy out of it, for me, it's like, hey,
It's
like I told you, I
not
read
fun. Yeah.
Yvonne Sharner, right?
Right.
I said, well, this thing sucks. I don't like it. I quit. And I told you guys, look, this book sucks. Everybody was saying, hey, this is a great book. It was recommended, blah, blah, blah. I just
Right.
came to tell you guys, well, I didn't read it. I just stopped reading it. I just quit. Like, it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo to me. I mean, yeah, I
Right.
mean, I can't say it's a mumbo jumbo to a lot of people, but I don't care if it has like 1,000, 100,000, a million reviews of 5 stars or whatever. I would tell you it sucked for me.
Right. Yeah, I
For
mean,
me, right?
I agree. You're good at recognizing that and moving on. Like so the I guess what I'm getting at ultimately with this is like on those days when I do want to push myself really really hard for whatever personal reasons that I want to do it for. Like
Hmm.
what always ends up happening for me is I'm running along, I'm cruising at a nice pace, I'm going, I don't know, let's say 7 30-minute mile or something like that, right? I'm feeling good, my breathing's fine, my body feels okay, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go for a, a 6 minute mile or something like that, or whatever, right? I'm gonna really push hard. I'm gonna crank it up. I'm gonna, for me, like that's pushing hard, right? So
Hmm.
I'm gonna crank it up. What ends up happening is my body tenses up, my lips, everything just gets tight, right? And like and I just try to grit I try to just push harder. Like I'm like, just swing your arms faster, lock your face tighter, like lock your muscles down harder, like, and it's like you just push forward and eventually, like, you end up exhausting yourself. You like, that is not how the guy Eliud Kipchoge runs a 4 minute mile for 26 miles. It's not how he does it. He looks like he's effortless. I mean, you could watch him run. He looks like he's just in a fucking peaceful, nice zone. Like when I'm at like my 7:30-minute mile pace or something like that,
Hmm.
right? Like he doesn't look like he's trying hard, right? Like that's the thing. It's like
It
he
doesn't
doesn't.
look like he's dying. I mean, that's the
He doesn't
point.
like.
Like I said yesterday, is you try not to kill yourself. You gonna be a centenarian,
Yeah, yeah. No, you're
right?
right. Like, yeah,
Just don't
yeah,
kill yourself. And so when you do something like you said, when you're doing a 4 minute mile, like you're not supposed to be dying. If you're dying, you're not gonna make it.
you're not gonna make it. You can't make it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like
Mhm.
it's got to fit within the flow of of life, right? So one of those things where whenever I do push myself, like it's like I do the exact opposite of what I should do, right? Like I think of this on a tennis court. Whenever I'm trying to hit the ball really, really, really hard, I can hit the ball really hard, But then sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna hit the ball really hard, you know. And when I do that, the shot is my body mechanics are all off. Like my tense up, you know, the wrong muscles. Like, you know, I don't come through all the way. I don't get full lever extension with my arm because it's not like loose enough. And I try to use just all arm and wrist and you know and you know whatever. It just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. Everything hurts. And I most of the time I miss the shot, right? Whereas when I think don't try to hit it hard, just hit a nice clean shot with full body extension and a nice, you know, like fluid motion or whatever, and all of a sudden ball just comes flying off a racket and it's like, oh wow, that was a great shot, you know. But my point being is like oftentimes when you're trying too hard, it's the exact opposite of what's going on.
Yeah, when you're
right?
trying too hard, it's the less optimal.
Is
Right?
it doesn't
optimal.
work. I mean, it doesn't.
I mean, it's like
work.
999 out of 1,000, you're gonna miss a shot, or you're gonna you know, you're not gonna hit the right shot. And so so if you're trying really hard, you are probably very substandard. Whatever result you have is very substandard. So why put extra effort and get less results? I mean, that's just common sense. And logically, you know, I mean, it doesn't make sense to say I'm gonna put in extra effort to trying to, you know, really grind my teeth and trying to hit that or try to run, but then I get less result than I don't even try. If you think about it, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like you are your own I guess obstacle. You know,
no, you really are. I mean, like that's the thing. It's like so where this reflection is going is I'm reading this book and we're on reflection 320, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to put yourself in the mindset of where I'm at, you know, in this Yomo journey. So I was going for 365. I've talked to you about this now multiple times over this whole entire past few weeks of these reflections, and I was feeling the burn, right? Like, I mean, this was becoming not enjoyable anymore. I was really focused on the finish line, you know, of 365. Everything was getting harder and harder. I was pushing harder and harder and harder. I found myself, you know, digging deeper for lessons. I found myself looking for the next book going, does this align to the vision of the purpose of this whole entire journey? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Is it short enough? Can I get it done fast enough and be able to still make sure that I have, you know, enough time to write and keep up with production, you know, in order to maintain a pace where I was like, well, if I keep doing it at this pace, I can get it done by, you know, 3 months down the road. Like I should be able to, you know, I was doing mental math in my head after almost every damn day of like, okay, I need to have it. If I keep up this same pace and this same production and this same whatever, you know, like, and maybe if I do 1 or 2 reflections on, you know, every one of these, you know, whatever, right? Like off each one of these books, like I can get to whatever. Point being is like, it started to get not fun, you know? I'm not saying I was never like, I still loved every minute of Yomo, but like I was turning something that was immensely joyful and, you know, the point of it was to spend time with my daughter and to spend time in reflection and thought and learn something new every day and express my values and get into that flow state where I can enjoy life with her. Because that was what this whole fucking thing has always been about, right? That is how Yomo started. That is how Clubney started. That is how me and you met. That is how what I do every single day, when I'm doing every single day is how I do it these days. That is my through line. That is the reason. That is me enjoying the moment is spending time with Amelia, you know, and trying to, you know, not miss the point, right? I was missing the point. I was looking at the clock going, oh, I'm at 320. I got 45 more. I just push harder, keep going, you know, go for the goal, keep going. And like, then when you do that, everything just becomes not right. It doesn't feel right. Life becomes less enjoyable, you know? And then, you know, you read books like this and hit at the right time and you're hearing about people dying and what their final thoughts are of like, you're not, you know, don't miss the point, right? And it's like he said something in this book, which is why the reflection title is he was like, you're trying too hard, you know, like, you know, that's what a lot of these people said the course of their life. They're like, I don't know why I was doing this, but I was just, life isn't that hard, you know, it's just enjoy it. Like, you know, enjoy it.
Life's supposed to be easy.
It is. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like
you just
hard.
make it hard.
Yeah, exactly. we make it hard. I made this journey hard, you know, at one point in time during this journey. I mean, I made it really hard. And it was, I mean, I talked to you about it almost every night. I mean, you heard me for, you know, I would get on here and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm almost there. And you're like, what are you talking about? You're like, just just like chill the fuck out. Like, it doesn't matter if it takes you until May or if it takes you until, 2020,
Well,
2029. Like, who gives a shit,
it doesn't matter.
right? It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter. Like, is the point, right? Like, don't write when you don't have a reflection. Like, don't worry about it. Like, just like read books, learn, spend time with your daughter, have a good time, come and talk about it when you have something you want to talk about, and like and that's fine. Like, but there doesn't need to be added stress into this whole entire thing. And for me, it just, this was a great reminder of like why I am doing this in the first place and what life is all about anyway in general. And really, don't miss the point. It's like, this is, you only get one of these things, right? And it's like, if you're lucky, you learn these things and you keep yourself in check. And it's so easy to drift, though. Like, I mean, we have like the madness gene. You remember that one? Have we talked about that one yet? Like the humans, the madness gene. I think that's actually coming up in a few reflections. There's a theory of like humans have this madness gene where like we always need something new to conquer and explore. Like, it's like, why not just be happy with what you have?
Well,
It's
the thing is this is a catch-22. Not catch-22, but the thing is, like I say, everything is a pros and cons, right? Because like I said, like a rock is hard, right? It's a pros and cons. Like I say, a rock is really good if you want to split a coconut or something like that to eat, but it's hard for you to put your head on to go to sleep. So same thing with what I said to you earlier. It's like, my thing is, I don't push hard for anything because that's my personality. That's my character. When I go to, I would try to push the boulders in front of me, but if I can't push it, I say, well, I'm going to try other options. There are some people who are really good at what they do, and they will push through, and they will like burrow tunnels and whatnot, and that's grand. But that's not me. You don't come to me and ask me to burrow tunnels into the mountain, right? I'm not that person, right? So that's what I'm saying is, everything we have, it's never ever absolute good or bad. It is always pros and cons depending on the context of it, the externality of whatever it is you put the perspective on. So whatever that we do today, right? It's never what it seems to be. You know what I mean? So people get distracted. People get like the madness gene. Like I say, and what I'm trying to get at is the human brain, the human nature, we desire for exploration, for learning. That is what we inherently need to have, and that is natural for us. But the bad side to that, the flip side to that, is because you want exploration, that could comes in as the madness gene, saying, I need to do certain thing, blah blah blah, right? You just turn that into something bad, right? I say, well, I like in the medieval age, right? You can have a sword, right? And today you can have a gun, right? Give a gun to a trained law enforcement, right? It's order. You give a gun to a kid, to a child, what happened to it? So do you blame the gun? You blame the sword? Because what happened if you don't have the gun?
Right.
What happened if you don't have the sword? Because the thing is, you think about like 9/11, for example. If you don't have the gun, more of these gonna happen. So you can't say, well, you have to get rid of the gun, blah blah blah, right? No, it's about the context of it, and you're missing the point in saying, okay, this is bad and that's good. So what perspective are you looking at? So you can't. So that's what I'm saying is, human in everything in the universe, there's always pros and cons. There's always two sides to a coin. Right. I mean, there's more than two sides. There's actually three sides, but what I'm saying is there's at least two sides to a coin. That means that there is also the dark side, of the knowledge. Like, that could come into the managing.
Our desire to want more.
Our desire to want more comes from the ability for us to, hey, I need to move. I need to be the agent of change. I need to keep up with the universe. That is the change that we need. But then that on the dark side becomes this madness gene where you go overboard and you went in the wrong direction and you use it the wrong way. It wasn't designed like that.
Exactly. That's exactly the you're trying too hard mentality. It's like, look, you have a desire to want to go to explore, but remember, you're exploring for exploring's sake. You're not exploring for some arbitrary, stupid goal. right? Like, you know, it's
You're
not
not
like
exploring to put a dent in the universe.
you're not exploring to put a dent in the universe. You are exploring to explore. You are moving with the universe, right? You are saying this is what the universe like is changing and evolving. I need to be, changing and evolving with it. I need to learn. I need to explore. I'm doing this for.
I mean, the river, you think about a river, right? Well, the river, it is intention, is to move. It doesn't say, well, I need to get to that fucking ocean over there.
Right, right.
The river say,
It's
I just need to
just I just
move.
want
I
to
just
move.
need to
Right. Yeah.
move, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the movement is what they want. It's not, oh, I need to go to the ocean, right? But you think about the whole perspective from a 30,000 foot view, right? You say, well, this water molecule is trying to get to the ocean, so that must be the goal, and so that's what they focus on. But the thing is, they don't care where it ends up.
No,
It doesn't really care where it
it'll
ends
end
up.
up where it
They
ends
just
up.
want to move. They just want to
Right.
move.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that to me in the universe. Like the universe is it built on chaos, right? They talk about entropy, so everything is going to become chaotic, and so you have to be in this constant changing because you are treading water, in essentially you treading water, so you have to move along with it to even maintain the stability.
But you got to remember the goal is to move, not the goal. The goal is not to get to the ocean. I think that's a great analogy.
Exactly, the goal
because like
isn't a destination.
that's the perfect analogy that I could give for how I was feeling. The goal was to spend time with my daughter in alignment with the universe and doing things that we like to do that are naturally occurring things that matter for humanity, to live a full life as a human, right? And when I get to do those things, I get to experience joy. And when I find that flow state and joy is when I feel like I'm honoring my daughter's life and what she taught me, right? And like that's the thing, it's like it doesn't feel like I'm honoring her life when I'm pushing for a goal.
You're pushing a goal, and it's not even a goal that
She doesn't
anyone
give a
put a gun
fuck.
to your head
Like,
and say, well, okay,
she just wants to
this
spend
is
time
what
with her
you
dad,
and even for me, you're not even like making this for me because I told you I don't want it. Right?
Right,
Like,
right, yeah.
stop, Chris.
Right,
and
right.
like for you, it's like, well, it's your own fucking, you know,
arbitrary stupid goal. I mean,
yeah,
I mean, it's an arbitrary stupid goal. I mean, what it is, but actually, no, that's actually not true. It wasn't an arbitrary stupid goal. You know what it was? It was an arbitrary real goal. Like, and I had a real goal that was completely arbitrary. If it was stupid, I would have just said, "Oh, this is stupid." Like, my goal of trying to be the best, go in line with the universe, as a human of what we're supposed to do as a human is a stupid goal, right? It's like, well, what does that even mean? I don't know. I mean, it sounds right. Like, so I'm going to do that. Like, I mean, there's no defined end path or whatever. It's just a way to navigate life almost, like what you just said. Like if you're on the river, like the river does, the arbitrary stupid goal of the river is just keep moving, like I don't know where we're going, but let's just keep moving, right? Like, that's an arbitrary stupid goal. Like an arbitrary real goal would be we need to get to the ocean, and you might end up being a tiny little trickle that makes it to the ocean or something like that when you're like, well, everybody else is the power, all the power of what the movement is gone because we lost all the water on the way because I was so hell bent on getting to the ocean. And like, there's no water actually behind
the chances of you getting to the ocean at a certain place, it is so
with all your
low.
Resources.
It's so low, right? You're not gonna, and so you're gonna be disappointed anyway. Right. But the thing is, whether you're here or whether you're there, right? What's the difference? What's the point? As long as you enjoy like I said, people say, the saying say the home is where the heart is. Right. So let's say you and I were in this Kobani tribe, right? Where should we make it? Where should we headquarters? Is it in Indiana? Is it in Houston? Is it in San Francisco? Is it New York? Where is it? Does it matter?
No.
You see what I'm saying? Does it matter? So the thing is, the destination, the location of this headquarters does not matter. It matters what you and I do every day, right? That's what I'm saying is what you're looking for is a vanity metric. It's not something, it's important to you and to me as a human person.
I'm going through this right now with my team, with Club Any Light program is I know what we're doing every single day. I know where we're moving and I know what they're doing and I know what they care about and I know what I care about. And we talk, we discuss this stuff, we try. We're moving at the pace that we can move at, that's sustainable, that's balanced, that's also taking their full humanity into equation. And tonight I had a meeting with my boss and my boss's boss, where we're going through all these amazing things that the team has accomplished thus far. Which, if you look back from a year ago to where we are today, like it's almost unfathomable how far we've come, like, up this mountain, like that we've been climbing, just but going at a steady, moderate pace of making changes as we go, right? And just doing it for the right reasons and helping each other out through the process, and and for the most part, doing it stress free, right? Not trying too hard, right? Like, and I was presenting. I had one of the tools that we've put into place along the way that makes people go a little bit faster, but at the same time under controlled, and to do what we want to do is up for renewal, and it was a tool that I brought in, and it's an expensive tool, and it's definitely done its job. But my boss's boss is the one that has to approve the renewal, and we were going through, like, the business case of it together, that put together a bunch of stuff that we needed to put together, and I was going through it all and showing her all these new things that we're doing, and tracking and changes and whatever. And she was like, well, this is great, but like, how do we know that it's getting where we want it to go? That we're heading to the ocean, and how fast are we heading? Basically, like, how fast are we heading to the ocean? How do you manage this stuff? How do you track this stuff and make sure and understand why that person's better than that person, and what they're doing is this and this and this and this? And I was like, well, I kind of have this data all over the place, and I knew you were going to ask this question. I'm not there yet, but we're trying to get there. But to the same time, though, immediately I felt this, like as soon as that call was over, this rush of almost, like, not anxiety, but like, yeah, I guess call it anxiety, like, or panic, or it's like, shit, now I got to go fucking figure out how to track these things, and get more data on it, and connect it all together.
It's remorse. It's called remorse. They say
it is.
So I don't care about these things.
I don't care.
I get stuck into doing things I don't like.
Well, you know what I can't. The answer that I can't give to her is, look, I know that we're going in the right direction. Like just let it keep playing out. We'll figure it out as we go, right? Like, I can't tell her that. Like, and she knows she can't say that to me. Like, you can't. Nobody can.
This is the same thing I'm saying. Is you expect a fish to climb a tree, and you say, well, it can't climb a tree because it's not as good as a monkey, and you get rid of it.
Right.
But, I mean, to me, that's what business are. And businesses today, especially managers and the people up there who doesn't do anything directly, brings value, because all they do is delegate, right? Delegation
all they're doing is reviewing numbers of what people did or didn't do. Like, who cares? Like, I mean, it's who cares?
What I'm saying is, these people are so narrow-minded in their ways that they can't see shit, because they are not in the trenches, so they don't see it, and they do fall up there, and they're completely blindsided by all these distractions. And you're asking for, okay, how do we know where we're going? I say, where are we going, right? Where are we going, and how do we track some of these things? The thing is, you there is so many variables in these things that well, tell me, how do you answer yours, and then I'll tell you how I can answer mine, right? Because the thing is, of all the things that you're tracking, is how are you tracking yours? So don't ask me to track it. It's not my job. It's your job, right? Your job as a manager is to show me how you track things, right? If you can track things, I'll track it just the way that you do it. Right? So that's the thing is, a lot of managers like do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Because the thing about it, I mean, ask her, like, I mean,
she doesn't track it. That's what she's asking.
Hypothetically, okay, of the thing that you proved for and that you have personally bring in, right? How did you track it, right? Can you become a model that I can model after?
Yes. Ironically, this particular person, this is her number one skill set, is tracking, connecting numbers, doing a lot of work to make that happen, and being, but you know what she doesn't do, and I don't mean this in a negative way, she does not manage humanity in any way, shape, or form. She manages the numbers all day.
That's my point, is that the thing is, in life, it's not black or white. You can't say this is that, because you're talking about, like, you're asking a fish to climb a tree, and you are grading the fish based on its ability to climb a tree, because you set some arbitrary metric, right? That's just tracking. Like, let's track something. Okay. Yeah. How do you track it? So you say, well, the monkey the duck, the fish, the little sloth, whatever. Okay, you guys are gonna race. You're gonna race to the top of the tree, right? Whoever gets there, that's how I. Whoever gets there in the last time, that's tracking. That's metrics. But that metric in that scenario that I described to you, right? It is ridiculous, don't you think? Because you can't expect a fish to climb a tree. You can't expect a duck to climb a tree, right? So the thing is, in that analogy, it is so relevant to humanity, because humanity, think about you and me. Between me and you, we have a lot of things that are completely opposite. So so in order for you to say, well, this tool or whatever, it's going to create this metric. So somebody's gonna fall off, but that doesn't mean that I'm this useless person if I can't do the task that you measure me on.
Well, so here's I have a little bit of a, not a conflicting thought, but more of a, I don't totally like know where this all fits into the equation, right? Like it's a if somebody's really good at tennis, does measuring and monitoring and get you anywhere? Like, or does it just watch them perform and say, oh, they, we'll just figure out how to get better together as we both watch them perform, and we'll go, okay, what do you think you would like to get better at?
That's exactly what you're saying. Is so the thing is the way that people track in business, it's not about let them perform among all the variable and all the dynamics and see what the result of their performance. Let's track how hard they hit the ball, right?
Right. Let's track everything.
Well, they only track a few metrics. Right. How hard they hit the ball, right? Or how fast they run to the ball. Let's track two of those things, right? Sure. So you think about those two metrics, and let's say you rank them. Hey, this guy hits really hard, right? And this guy runs so fast to the ball, right? That's good. That it should help him become a great tennis player. And you say, well, I'm gonna rank this guy first. So this guy is first, this guy is second, and you rank them from 1 to 100, whatever, and then you put them into this real life tournament. Do you think the guy who ranked first is going to win a tournament?
Not all.
Unlikely, because there's so many variables in play, right? But that's what businesses are doing. The businesses are tracking using a few minor variables, and these variables are usually vanity metrics. They're not directly like impacting the end result, right? Because there are so many variables. Like you say, well, if I hit hard, doesn't mean I hit it to the right point. I'm gonna hit hard, but I'm gonna hit it outside the fucking, you know what I mean? I can hit it really hard, but I hit it outside the line.
It's unacceptable to give the answer of
you can't.
They're just good, they're just better, or they just like it. Like it's unacceptable to say, why is Eddie Van Halen a better guitarist than True Nguyen? I don't know. Like I don't know.
But the thing is,
I don't want to know the answer. Like, why do we care?
You can't measure for fun logically. You can't measure that, because the thing is, it's subjective.
Well, so this is my point of what I'm getting at, is like, why are we even measuring this? This is when things go from you're trying too hard, right? Like it's like, just let them do what they do, and they're either going to become Eddie Van Halen or they're going to become some random dude.
There is a certain metric that matters. There's a metric that matters.
No,
one of the metric that matters is, are they bringing in money?
Well, in the business world, yes, right. That is so. But
well, in this scenario, right? In this scenario, it's not the metric of, okay, how many calls did they make? Right. Let's say I can make a lot of calls, but I can't close shit. Doesn't mean I'm making any money, right?
Yeah.
Or the metric is, hey, how many thank you did they say? Okay. How many follow-up did they do? Right. Some of these things do impact the end result, but it's not the only thing. So you can't say, I'm gonna use this metric, because if you do that, you only narrow. Basically, this is what I'm saying is, you know how signal processing works, right? Because you have a bunch of signals in and you process them, and then the thing that kind of like shocked me when I'm trying to build this this binaural beat for the app is, people are doing signal processing, and what they do is they will like eliminate certain signals, certain points, just because it's outliers.
Right.
And to me, it makes no sense. Like, what do you mean outliers? How do you determine what's outliers?
Right. That's true.
Right? How do you determine it's outliers? Right? A point over here.
It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit in the story.
It doesn't fit. So you took it out. So that's what I'm saying. Is so you're either going to like completely miss the signals,
right,
or you overfit. Right? You overfit to the point where you line up everywhere. This is like highlighting everything in the book. It's called overfitting, because you do everything, right? That's the motto. And so when you do that in the business world, you will go into one of those things. So you will completely miss the point. So that's what I'm saying is you are wasting time and getting less results. This is exactly what you're saying. When you are doing too hard, right? You're putting extra effort and getting subpar result, then you're not trying at all. And so yes, in the business world, you can't really say, let them do the thing and whatever.
What happens, right?
They don't understand what that is. They want some vanity metric, but
they want some concrete
in the real
proof
world,
that,
which from the perspective of Clubman, you and I, it is silly.
It's really dumb. I mean, well, because then it goes back to what's the point anyway in the first place, right? Like, if you're not doing like look, the people that are going to get good results are the people that the question that was posed to me is, why is this person better than this person? And I go,
why are you better at tennis than me?
I don't. That's what I said. I don't know. Like, if you want me to like try to figure out why Novak Djokovic is better than Chris Sears at tennis, I don't know. Like, I mean, I
don't think anyone does. I don't think anyone does.
This is my point. This is the question that was asked of me specifically, of like, how do you know that? Why does this person have success and this person doesn't? What are they doing?
I mean, just tell them that we
how can I track monitor?
We are still researching that. It's called the Human Genome Project.
Well, but like, so this is the whole point of this whole entire reflection is about, you're trying too hard. Like, am I a good writer? I don't know. I really don't care. Like, is this a good I don't even know what you call this thing.
I mean, you think about, hey, what's a good singer, right?
I don't know.
What's your favorite singer, right? You name one, and then you ask somebody else. What's your favorite? It's somebody else.
It's totally subjective. I mean,
like, when you look at somebody, okay, is this person beautiful, right? And then you ask somebody else, who you think is beautiful, right?
Why?
It's completely different. So you can't measure. That's my point. You cannot measure.
Now, if you say Kim Kardashian is beautiful, let's just say Kim Kardashian is somebody you say is beautiful, right? And then you go, well, what are the elements that go into making Kim Kardashian beautiful? Well, I don't know. It's her skin tone. It's her big.
Well, a lot of people have skin tone.
It's her tiny waist to hip ratio. It's her I don't know. You could give whatever scientific measurements you want to give, and you're like, but then you go tell other women, well, this is if you want to be beautiful, this is what you got to look like. So then they can go get completely augmented if you want to, and then you look at them, you're like, you look hideous, and you're like, what do you mean I look hideous? I just did exactly what you told me the most beautiful woman that you've seen ever it looks like. It mirrored all of her dimensions, her looks, her everything. So what's the difference? I don't know. You look like a clown. And they're like, what do you mean I look like a clown? It's impossible to figure out what goes into somebody creating art or not. I mean, it's impossible. And I don't even know that it's even worth trying. Because then you're trying too hard.
My point exactly. It is not worth trying because it's not possible,
right,
to measure something in a dynamic world like we live in. So you are just wasting time. You're wasting time and effort.
You know what would be not a waste of time is if I'm looking at this from my boss's boss perspective, and you're right, money comes into play to this whole situation. What would I rather the answer be then? And I would go, okay, well, here's what I would rather the answer be. Well, is this person an artist? I don't think they are. Well, then get them the fuck out of here. If they can't create art and then what are they doing here? Get them out of here. Have you given them enough time to try to see if they're a good artist or not? Yeah, I have. Like, and what's your assessment? I don't think their art's very good. All
I
right,
mean,
well
it's
then they're
just like,
gone. You
I
know,
mean, just
like I
like,
mean,
hey, you bring to a group of people, hey, I bring you this tool. It's called a sword, right? And you give each one of them a sword. Some of them's gonna be good, and some of them's gonna suck, and some of them's
exactly
gonna cut down throat, right? So you
right.
think about, hey, it's a fucking tool. You can't say, well, what make them good? Well,
I don't know.
it's not the tool,
I,
it's them,
it is. It's them with the tool, right? Like I mean,
right?
so this.
So it's not about should I get the tool or should I not? It's like who should I get the tool to?
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's the right question. It's not about should I get this tool. So you think about like that's what I'm saying is you bring a bunch of people together. I said this is my village, and I bring in you this tool. It's called sword. Everybody gets one, and you think about it in that scenario, in analogy to what she wants, right? How do you track something? Say, well, is this tool good for us?
Right.
Right? Because what happened? You don't have the sword. Like back in the medieval age, what happened? You don't have sword.
Well,
Well,
yeah, I mean,
it
it
doesn't turn
definitely is
well.
it was definitely valuable for the people that it was valuable for, and it was definitely not valuable for the people that it was definitely not valuable for. Is the answer, right? Like I don't know.
Right.
Like it
So
was
so thing
clearly
is so
valuable
so
though.
they so that's what I'm saying is the signal processing is like okay there are something that's outlier, but it's not really what you think. It
Right.
is about okay. It's not about whether you have the sword or not have the sword. That's not the question. The
Right.
question is who should have the sword and who
Exactly.
should not have the sword.
That's
That
exactly the
is a
question.
completely different direction, the directive of a question because you think
Yes.
of one from one direction, right? You're asking the question in one direction. The 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 reality is completely in a different plane. It's not even
Yeah.
the same plane of a question that you're asking.
You,
So
you you're
it's not in the it's not the same line of thought that you think. You know. So
you're
that's what I'm
you're
saying is the
saying
reality is that it completes something. That's why when you see the signals and you say, well, that doesn't fit into what I think as my line of thinking, right? And you eliminate the signals. I mean, either way, you're gonna be wrong when you
yeah.
eliminate a signal. That's why I don't understand when a lot of engineers and a lot of scientists they eliminate outliers. They say, well, this is outlier. Because the thing is, what does that mean?
Well, I mean,
Right?
because they're obsessed with consistency
And
and
patterns.
predictability, right? You know, but like the I don't know. I mean, I think we're definitely hitting on something that's important, but at the same time, it's I think we're even a little off pace, like from where I was hoping this would go, which is okay. I mean, these never go exactly the way
Yeah,
they're
we go,
supposed to,
but there's so
but
many
but
things to talk about because
right,
the
yeah,
moment you pick one thread, right,
right. It just
it's
keeps
gonna go
going.
on its own.
Yeah,
But there is many threads along this reflection that we can continue to talk, but it's gonna take us like
yeah,
all day and all night. And so
exactly. So the reason why um yeah, so the reason why I'm thinking um this is so important is I think it doesn't matter. like like the end outcomes that you seek when you push harder doesn't matter. So just do it the way that you feel that you could do it for the right reasons you want to do it. And most of the time actually like that'll actually get you way further is the point, right? It's just life is just way too fucking short to like take it too damn seriously. Like, it's just like
yeah, so
do
one of
what
the
you want
thought
to do.
that comes to my mind that I want to ask, and I don't know if we have time for that because we are out of time. But one of the questions I want to ask is, why are people afraid of death? What's the
Got me.
reason? That's what I'm saying is
It's scary. It's unknown. It's unknown,
the
and
line of thought,
you're
the
afraid
line
you're out
of
of time.
thought,
Yeah.
the line of thought that we are thinking, that's the reality is completely in different plane, right? So the thing that you say is it's not that we're scared of pain or missing someone or whatever. It is it is the fear of not having enough time.
Mhm.
And that even in that statement is only secondary. That's not the real reason. The real reason I think is because you did not get to do what you wanted to do.
You wasted your time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is people are getting to the reality when they are, near death. They say, well, I didn't get to do, and I don't have more time. So that's what scares them. It's not the pain. It's not the any other things that people think about in terms of death, right? It's about, okay. It's like when you're late for something, when you're late for school, right? Let's say you're late for school and you run and you scramble. The anxiety of being late, for example, right? For whatever reason, that just gets you fearful. You know what I mean? You're late for a train, get you fearful. You're late for a bus, get you fearful, right? You have that anxiety in you. It's something in your stomach. It's just, grinding in your stomach,
Sucks. Yeah, it
right?
sucks.
It sucks.
Right.
But the thing is, the reality of, let's say you miss a train. What's the thing what happens when you miss a train?
Nothing. I mean, something else happens.
Exactly,
You
nothing.
don't even know,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Or something else happens, and it could be good. I mean, it could be bad. Like
Another example
something
I give you.
happens. But
Another example I can give you is, you see a lot of these young girls, young boys, or whatever, and they drive down this street, the freeway, right? And they hit this thing. When they hit the little corner, right?
hmm,
Why are they hitting the corners? Most of the
I
time
don't
they
know.
say, "Oh shit, I missed the exit. Oh
Oh,
shit."
that's right. Yeah, that's true.
Right? Because that's a fear but the thing is, you think about what happened if they miss the exit and they don't do anything about it.
Let's go to the next exit and turn
Well,
around.
next
Yeah.
exit and turn around.
Right. Right.
There's nothing happens to you,
Right.
right? When you miss the exit because you prepare for it. But the moment that you panic, it's because you become worse. This is what I'm saying is when people are dying, it's not because of anything that we can think of directly. Is the thing that, hey, I didn't get to do what I want to do, and I have no time left. That's what gets them.
It's brutal. I mean, it's a situation that I never in my like that. If there's one thing that I could ever do in this life that I would feel proud to share with Amelia whenever I get a chance to see her again is just let her know I didn't waste that time. Right? Like I mean, like like irony of all ironies. Talk about wasting time. Like fucking somebody just sent me 8 Slack messages in a row in the past 5 minutes while you were talking and it's distracting. Like I'm wasting my time like by even giving 2 seconds of
Isn't
thought.
it 9:30?
It's 9:30 and it's oh, there's number 9 just popped up. Like the talk about like the total waste of my fucking time. Like it literally diverts my attention and it's like for what the fuck what could possibly be so important about I bet it. The person I know I saw it on my phone who's slacking me. I don't know what it's about, but I bet I know I'm almost fairly confident that it's probably the biggest waste of my life.
It doesn't
And
matter. Even if the company is closing, it doesn't matter because you think about it. At the end of the day, I don't care if you are making a dent in the universe and you have pancreatic cancer. You can say, "Oh wow, I messed up." You think about it. The thing is,
okay,
this is the reason why you and I are on here. It's because I don't think that I'm on here, and I don't think that you're going to be on here if you did not experience the atomic bomb that you had, and I don't have this brick wall that I hit, right? That I had because I would not
zero
have seen.
chance.
Because I told you, I keep thinking about how can I tell my younger self, the hard-headed, stubborn, knows it all kind of guy, how to change his life. I still haven't figured out how to do that.
I mean, I don't think you'll probably be working on it for the rest of your life, which is fine. But as long as you're adapting and like you said, moving with the water as it's going down the river, like right now, versus just standing there in the stream and just like
You
being
can't
stuck in
stand in stream. You cannot
right
stand. It's just like standing on a treadmill. You just
right
can't. It's going to push you back, and you're gonna hit your face on the floor.
right. I
You're
mean,
gonna hit your face on the floor if you stand there. So it's not like, hey, I stand there and nothing happens. No,
right.
that's not how the universe works. The universe is constantly changing, and you want to keep treading water, treading a universe. You have to keep changing with it, adapting to it. And the
Yeah.
thing is, adapting to it is a change agent already. And imagine adapting to it and going against it, and then trying to put a dent in the universe. It's
Or
like,
even if you go with it and then you try to arbitrarily speed it up, Like, you know, like
You
let's
can't
say
go
you're
faster
swimming.
than it.
You can't go swim. Yeah, exactly.
You mean on a treadmill, it goes a certain speed, and you can't go faster than it, and you can't go slower than it, and you can't stop. Right? You think about it.
It just gotta go with the way that it's going, at the speed that it's
It
going, at
has
the
to
rate that it's
be
going.
compatible, right?
Right,
It has
exactly.
to align. That's why we call it alignment and alignment and balance, right? You can't do things that you think, hey, you know, I'm
Well,
going
you
to
can.
lift
I
it.
mean, to be clear, you can do it. Like what we're
Just
saying
like you
is like,
say, you know, what was it you said yesterday?
fuck around and find
Fuck
out.
around
Yeah, like,
now,
yeah,
exactly.
right.
You
Yeah,
can say,
exactly.
hey, I'm gonna go faster than treadmill. Right? What's the thing of that, right? Yeah,
Fuck around
fuck
and
around
find
and
out.
find out, right?
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna stop running. Fuck around and find out.
right. Yeah, I mean, or try harder. Try run fast. Try to
Try to
you
run
know,
sideways.
block your try to run side. Try to hit a ball, you know, way too hard over the top of your head to do whatever. I mean, like it's you're trying too hard.
Fuck around and find out.
Don't try too hard. Try the right amount and enjoy what you're doing. Is the point, right? Like it is.
I think that if you try hard, you're not doing the right way, and you're not doing the right thing for you.
I agree. I mean, it shouldn't be hard. Like, I mean, it should be like getting an A+ in school, where you're like, oh yeah, no, yeah, I got an A+.
I mean, to me, it's like so for me, it's like in computer science, right? I barely do anything, and I cannot get a B. Okay, I just cannot get a B.
Right.
Even when I had a 0 in one of the project, I could not get a B. So one of the we have a project that we decided to do the work together, and basically somebody hand in the I guess the assignment without changing the names. And then the teacher finally said, it's the exact same name, so I'm going to give everybody who's involved 0, right? Even in that case, I can't get a B. And I didn't do anything. So this is called, you have an affinity for a certain thing. Like I said, a beaver has a waterproof pelt. It's going to stay in the water for like days and without having the pruny fingers or whatever. And like for you, you're great at what you do, whether that's, be able to talk to somebody or to get somebody to connect or to play tennis, whatever. You're great. That's your talent. You are made for it. That's your personality. That's your character. And so everybody has theirs. So if you do something that is different, like people trying to be, in computer, right? They study so hard and they still can't get a fucking B. You get a C at best, right? They try so hard and get a C. That's what I'm saying is, you and I we're talking about the C student, right? You try so much, so hard, and you still get a C, and the best you can do is a C.
Yep, but you're trying too hard.
Hey, you don't do anything, and you get an A. It's like so. One example I'll say before we end, but like my daughter, one of my daughter, she has 1 B in her class, and that B is physical education, right? She has a 70. She has like a 70 in one of the assignment that she's supposed to do. So the assignment was to run 1 mile under 8 minutes. Right? And so she's a fucking girl.
Right.
So who fucking care?
Yeah, right.
Well, who fucking care? Right? Who fucking care about, because then the guy is naturally gonna be have an A, but what does that mean? You know what I mean? You think about it.
Was there a guy's time and a girl's time, or was it the same time for both? I mean,
I think the same time. 8 minutes.
Kind of weird. 8 minutes, not easy. Yeah.
It's not easy.
No,
but regardless, it's like, okay. I mean, she's not out here to be, hey, I'm going to play professional sports or anything. It's like, if she's fat, is she overweight? If she can't run over, if she can't even walk, she can't even jog, right? But to have somebody ding for not being able to make 1 mile,
an arbitrary time,
it's an arbitrary. Who made it? And then so naturally the guy who is physical and the guy who is sporty, or the girl who's sporty, it's going to make it. It's going to have an A easily, and for her, it's going to C because she can do it, right?
Yeah,
but she's a girl. So you.
Well, I don't know if it matters if you're a girl, because you can be a girl and naturally get good.
No. I'm talking about the affinity of a person. So girls generally, they don't. More girls are not sport interested, right? They're more like, hey, I like this creative stuff. I like drawing. I like whatever.
Sure.
Boys are more physical because they inherently were born with it, right?
Mhm.
So I would say 7% of boys is going to be, you're going to have more physical muscles and power to be able to do that task.
Sure.
Majority of the girls, I'm not saying all the girls, there are some girls who are physically fit and they're physical and they can do that task. But majority of the girls, like 70% of the girls, are not, and that's not their liking. That's not the desire. And
Right.
so you're trying to measure something that's completely not your kind of character. So it is
She
hard.
doesn't care is the point. Like, I mean,
Well,
she
for
doesn't
one, she doesn't
care.
care, and
Right.
second, it's hard because for her
Right.
to say, "Well, I just can't make it right now." Certainly, like all my life, I'm doing these things. Right? I'm doing this artsy thing, and certainly you try to make me huff and puff and really buckle down and bite my teeth and lock my muscle and try to make 1 mile under 8 minutes so they can get the fucking A. What's the point?
Right.
I told her, forget it. I'll give you an A because to me that's stupid. So that's what I'm saying is people put stupid metrics for what? What is the point, right?
There's
So
no point.
like, you say, well, you go ahead and so the thing is, say, well, if this person a worse student than maybe a boy who can run like 7 minute mile, right? Even you run 7 minute mile, it's still pretty pushing it, right?
It's challenging. Yeah, I mean,
It is
it's not
challenging.
easy. I mean,
It
like,
is
I mean,
easy, but
an 8 minute mile is running like it
you have to put
like
it.
7.5 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah.
You have to put some effort into it. I mean, it's not easy. Like,
But my point is, it's not easy for her. It's not
right.
easy because she is not born with the muscle, with the talent, or the desire to be physically prowess, right?
Right.
She's not like that, right? It's just like, hey,
it doesn't even matter if she could develop that if she wanted to, but she doesn't care.
but she
It
doesn't
sounds
want
like, you know,
to.
right. So it's like,
want to, right?
so it's what's the point? Like, then just like you should just ask anybody in a PE class is the truth. Do you want to get good at running a mile? And if they say no, just give them a C and let them go. Like, like I mean, it's
But
okay,
my point is, why give them the C? Because the point is,
I don't even know.
It is the silly metric. It's a silly metrics. Like say I say, hey Chris, you and I should go to school, and I'm gonna grade you on coding. It's like, fuck, I'm gonna be a C student, right?
Because I would be awful. My
point is that why are we putting metric and then putting a grade on something?
Yeah,
because you say, hey,
I don't know.
I'm gonna grade fish on its ability to climb a tree, and I'm gonna say, well, this fish sucks. What's the point of doing that?
So this is my final thought because I got to jump. My wife is a great dancer. Like she was like the captain of her dance team in Texas, which is like a big deal, right? Like in Texas, like the dance teams in high school or whatever, I guess are important. They're not Indiana. We don't really care about that shit. I don't even know that we have dance teams, but so she was like a really good dancer. She was like a competitive, dance, contemporary dance, whatever kind of person. She's always been really good at movement. She can't catch a ball or throw a ball, save her fucking life, right? Like now me, like this is no joke. I mean, it's like I throw a ball at her and it hits her in the fucking arm and she's like, whoa, like, I mean, she cannot catch, she cannot throw a ball. Like it is, I don't know, baffling to me. I'm like, how can you not catch this ball, right? Like you're pretty coordinated, you could do all these things, but vice versa, on the other side of everything, I am the worst dancer ever, but I can do an insane amount of incredibly intricate coordinated things with hand-eye coordination.
Because you're using coordination as a metric, as a vanity metric.
It is not. It has nothing to do with rhythmic dance versus whatever I do, right? Like there's
it's not about coordination because she can walk fine, right?
I've tried. Yes, it's not about coordination. Like I've tried so many times to learn. She could try to teach me the most basic dance moves, and I swear to God, it's like a fucking different language. I'm like, wait a minute, you put this foot here, that foot here, then you go like this, and then you're supposed to. I try to make it super. Like I can do some incredible things with my body of very intricate, fast motion, twitch, like very quick, explosive things, right? And like people see me do it when in my element, and they're like, whoa, that's fucking insane. And I literally can't do like a hip ball change or whatever. I don't even know what the fuck that even means, but it's like you asked me to do that, and I'm like, I tried. I don't know what you mean. Like, what do you want me to do? I just can't do it. So like to your point, it's like I could spend all day long probably trying to study dance and try to get better at it, but I think that would probably be a mistake because I've definitely tried to dance in my life, and I'm just not any good, and there is no affinity for me to want to get better at it either. Like I don't mind moving my body every once in a while. Like your daughter probably doesn't mind going jogging or something like that if she wanted to, but she doesn't need to go run fast, and she doesn't care. Right? Like my wife doesn't need to be really good at hand-eye coordination and catching balls and hitting balls. She doesn't give a fuck. Like, I mean, anytime I've ever asked her, I've tried to teach her to play tennis before, and she's just like, I don't want to. I mean, I think she went out there one time, and she's like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. And like I've tried to get her to go play pickleball with me, and every once in a while, the only reason she's even gone to the courts these recently is because of Luca, not because of me. And because Luca wants to be out there. Every once in a while, she'll hit a little ball, the pickleball across the net to like keep Luca entertained. But anyway, it's like painstakingly, like she hates it, like, and I can tell her. She's like, I don't want to do this. Like, anyway, that's your point.
My point is everybody has their own. Right. Whatever it is, you have your own.
Exactly. And
just do that.
And do that, and don't try too hard, and enjoy it, and enjoy your life for what it is, because you don't get too much time. That's the final thought. So, question we can leave for everybody is, are you currently trying too hard? I mean, are that's actually one of the better questions, is because it's a really open-ended, ambiguous question, but you could go, shit, I am fucking trying really hard right now, and you're like, why am I trying so damn hard? Like, is this hard? Probably shouldn't do it, like,
I mean, like I say, if you have a drill, you can throw through the rock. But if I have a drill, don't try to knock a hole into the boulder if you can't do it. That's what I'm saying. Is for me, it's like I give it, chef, nothing. Okay, forget it. I quit. I'll go somewhere else. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for joining, everyone, and we will see you tomorrow night.
Sounds good. See you.